Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some dry brush and leaves around. So, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Little roller up along first. Behind the see you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait. All the baby is out of the field. He's going to go into the end zone. Looking, throwing in the end zone.
You're tuned into Game On with Josh Silverberg. Talking all things sports. It's
Game on! Yeah, game on!
Game On, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here with Game On every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You can check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok for Jabba and the Mouth, and so on and so forth. Eric had a family situation tonight, so he will not be joining us this week. Don't mind me. Been a long day. Summer is winding down. It is sad. It is time to us teachers have to go back. So I know a lot of states started already. But we have a guest host, and he's been with us. Bring him on in.
Sorry,
there
Snug.
He is.
Sorry, Snug. It's not Josh's father.
No, it's not. Oh, listen, Speedy PD was a last minute call. So of course, Speedy's always on the board and everything like that. Speedy, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. Hope everything going well with Eric as well. Was praying for him and his family too, and also shout out to Errol too. His sister had to be rushed to the hospital yesterday too, so prayers up to her.
Oh goodness me, I did not know that. Of course, thoughts and prayers, of course, with that and everything going on for Errol and all everything that's happening. Well, this is kind of the time we're going to get to some football conversation. We know training camps have started up. Preseason games have started a little bit. We're also going to get into the top 25 came out, Speedy, and why we think it is a little ridiculous to a certain team being number 2 overall. And, of course, these rankings are going to change throughout the time. But we begin with the leadoff spot. And, of course, if you haven't seen it, it was posted by Speedy in the YouTube link. All that with the picture. Baseball in New York, I would say just about 3 months ago, we were talking Subway Series. It was a real possibility. And now there's a realistic possibility, Speedy, that both the Mets and the Yankees could miss the postseason. And that, to me, is a bit disturbing. Of course, 631-672-3108 is the number to call. If you call, I will do my best. I'm now full-time remote now, not in the studio anymore, so we'll do my best to hear the calls as much as I can. Of course, Speedy will try to translate it for me if he has to. It's a work in progress. We're going to get that situated. But, man, I'll tell you this. I went to bed last night. The Mets were winning 6-0, and I passed out. I just fell asleep. I was like, all right. And I literally just fell asleep. And I woke up, and I get Uber's amount of text messages from people. I can't believe they lost. This team is shot. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I go and I look at the score, and it said Braves 11, Mets 6. And I was like, oh my goodness, they lost the game. They actually lost that game. How did that happen? And it's crazy because the Mets have now gone a full rotation, Speedy, around the rotation with not a single starter getting past 5 innings. And that to me is absolutely, it's mind-boggling. It's it's actually incredible when you think about it. They had the least amount of innings pitched by any starting rotation in baseball this year, and there were a lot of question marks going into it. And listen, I always admit when I'm wrong, Speedy. I'm sure you thought the same thing too after what we saw from Luis Severino last year. We saw Jose Quintana, the development of David Peterson, Sean Manaea. We said, okay, with Jeremy Hefner and with the pitching lab, this could work with anybody. Now, we all remember when the Mets signed Frankie Montas. I was not happy about that. I thought that would blow up in their face. I ranted about it on the show. And then when Montas got hurt, I said, why don't you just bring back Jose Quintana for wound up being $2 million, and he's having a pretty nice year for the Milwaukee Brewers, who have the best record in baseball. And let me tell you something: if Major League Baseball gets a World Series of the Milwaukee Brewers, and think of a random team like if the Cleveland Guardians get hot, and Detroit, I guess Detroit, but if the Cleveland Guardians get hot, if they get like a Guardians Brewers World Series, I think Major League Baseball is gonna bury their head in the sand and call it a day. But it's really just a shocking development. We'll start with the Mets first because we're both Met fans. And we'll get to the Yankees after, and we'll get to other things around Major League Baseball. But, Speedy, when we look back, and we were talking end of May, early June, me, you, and Eric were talking constantly. Oh, there's a real possibility Mets Yankees Subway Series. This really could happen this year. This really is a thing. Everything was going well. There were still flaws in both teams, but they were getting through them. The Mets had a winning streak, and then it was crazy. Friday the 13th happened in June against Tampa Bay Rays when they had a 5-0 lead or 5-1 lead, and they blew that game. And then it's like everything went downhill at that point, right? Like everything kind of, they got swept by Tampa at home, and okay, fine, it was like a blip in the radar. They kind of righted the ship, and then they go to Atlanta and they get swept there, and then they have this homestand where they lose to the Giants and they get swept by the Guardians, almost getting no hit. I was at the second game where Holmes pitched, and then they go to but you, Speedy, we're looking at all these losses this season for the Mets, and you didn't really get that last year. I mean, there was a lot more. There was a laundry list of great wins they had last year. I could think of 9 or 10 worst loss of the seasons, worst loss of the year, worst loss of the year. The Nationals game, April 27th, where they had a big lead against them, and then they blew when Alonso threw the ball away. The Rays game, where they were up 5-1 and they blew it at home. The Brewers, when they were up 5-0 and they lose. Marte, on last Sunday, Marte getting thrown out at the plate to end the game. The loss yesterday against Atlanta. They're up 4-1 against Atlanta a few months ago, and in the 8th inning, and they lose that game, and it just goes on. And the Padres game where they were at 6-0, Vientos hits a grand slam, and then Mauricio ties it, and then they still lose at the bottom. The laundry list of bad, horrific, awful losses, and they've had bad stretches too. Swept in a doubleheader by the Orioles. I mean, it's just it's mind-boggling to think we're in the situation now where the Reds are a game behind them now for the last wild card spot. And I said to you I said last week on the show, I don't think the Mets are making the playoffs. And you and Eric both looked at me. I said, I don't think they're making the postseason, because the thing is, this is the team now. They have Nolan McClain pitching Saturday, one of their top prospects and one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. You hope he gives you a little something with the A's, but then of course you got the hot Seattle Mariners. They're coming in. They just tied the Astros for first place. So it's like it really, between just all with the way the lineup has been. Alonso had that historic home run the other 2 nights ago, and that was great. But you look at the lineup this year, the inconsistencies with Soto and Alonso and Nimmo and Francisco Lindor, and ever since Cohen tabbed them as the Fab Four, they've been awful. to say the least. And then it's the rest of the lineup has been inconsistent, and now they've kind of hit a little bit the last couple of games, and now the pitching has been a disaster. And if that's not the case, then the bullpen gets overused and they're overworked. And then I got a pitch clock violation on Sunday by Ryan Helsley, and the next pitch he gives up a home run, and it costs him the game. And it's just like it's just really, and we want to blame somebody, right, Speedy? And of course, you can't blame. I mean, I you can't fire the players. That's always to say, right? You can't fire the players. But what people want to now, who they want to blame now, is Carlos Mendoza and everything. I don't know what you want Carlos Mendoza to do. Yesterday's a prime example. He has his best pitcher on the mound. They're up 6-0, and then all of a sudden David Pearson cannot throw a strike, and that has been a recipe for disaster for this team. Too many walks this year. They don't get enough innings out of their starters, and their bullpen is overworked. Put that together with the inconsistencies with the lineup, and it's been dreadful, you know. And then it's crazy. And then John Heyman comes up with a story in the New York Post today. The Mets have interest in Cody Bellinger in free agency. I'm like, why are we thinking about next year already? Let's, you know, I got David Jones in Japan with I think it Mirakawa. How do you say his name? Mirakima, I believe his name is.
Morikawa.
Morikawa. He's in Japan looking at this guy. And, you know, I'm like, what are we doing? We need to let's focus on finishing up the rest of this season. But it has been a mitigated disaster to the point, Speedy, where we're talking about this team who was 2 wins away from the World Series last year, signed Juan Soto in the offseason, and they might not even make the postseason. And if you want, you know, you could blame Eric Chavez, of course, with the hitting approach and all that. But and I can't say I think Chavez should be let go too. But Speedy, I look at it as it's what did these guys forget how to hit all of a sudden? Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the part where I'm just like, you could blame the hitting coach, you could blame the what did Lindor forget how to hit? I mean, ever since Lindor got the toe injury, he's been a disaster hitting. Nimmo has been a little bit better. Alonso, who had an if not for Alonso at the beginning of the year, Speedy, he had 30 games under 500. Soto's been up and down this year, but he's been hitting the ball well recently. But you know, the starting. My hope is, and I'll get to your point in a minute. My hope is David Stearns learned a lesson from this offseason because I think he tried to get too cute with the rotation in the sense of we saw what Severino did last year. Manaea developed. Those are 2 David Stearns signings. Quintana did really well last year. Pearson developed well. My thought process is I think he tried to get too cute with the Montas signing and the Holmes signing, you know, but I look at it too in the sense of why didn't you just resign Quintana for $2 million and Montas, who's going to take the player option next year at 17 mil? That's the part where I'm confused, and I like David Stearns, and I believe in what he's preaching. You know, I don't want to give long-term contracts to starting pitchers either, especially in their 30s. If it was like, Speedy, I think I told you there's probably, who did I say? There were probably 3 pitchers in baseball I would give long-term contracts to right now. That would be Paul Skeens, Garrett Crochet, and Hunter Green. But the only 3 guys that I've stood on that I have said, those are the 3 guys I would give long-term deals to. I really hope, because in the offseason, you're going to have Zach Gallen, you'll have Framber Valdez, who's already rumored with the Red Sox. You're going to have some starters next year. Now, I know, obviously, Montas will take the player option, but I can't imagine the Mets are going to bring him back next year and they'll eat the money. But my hope is the Mets learned a valuable lesson here, Speedy, in the sense of maybe if it ain't broke, don't fix, you know, if it ain't broke, you don't have to fix it. Maybe I think Stearns got a little too cute with the rotation ideas because also let's look at it in this perspective. McLean should have been up a month ago. McLean's been ready for the last 2 months, and Sproat's also been ready for the last month and a half too. And Holmes is fading fast. And it's like I got to watch Clay Holmes pitch another start. He can't go another 3 innings. I don't know. You're a Met fan too. You're watching this unravel. Did I miss anything? Are there any points you disagree with what I just said? Because I find it, like I said, I think Stearns could have just, even when Montas got hurt, he could have just brought Quintana back in February for $2 million, and you have a little bit of stability. Because now all of a sudden Manaea doesn't look great either since the injury. I don't know if he's 100% healthy either.
Well, yeah, Manaea I expected some regression from because he's always been a great 1 year pitcher, then he's down the next year. So I think that was kind of expected. This badly though, like for everybody, is definitely concerning. Still trying to figure out with this bullpen. I expected that to take a little bit of time, I guess, because they're all new all at once. But the starting it was something that you wonder, like there's a chew stuck on the system too.
They don't go past 5 innings, Speedy. This is the problem. They don't go past. They can't even get to the 5th lately.
Yeah, and like where are you going to get even the deadline? Like where are you going to get a pitcher with length too?
Well,
like,
that was the problem. The only guy that was traded was Merrill Kelly, and it was an overpay. It was the 5th, 9th, and the 12th ranked prospect for the Rangers. That's
who was the guy I mentioned. I thought they were going to get when we did the weekend crunch, and I wasn't going to pay that price though. That's crazy.
No, and I like I said, you're going to have Zach Gallen, you're going to have Dylan Cease, you're going to have Framber Valdez, you're going to have arms available. The thought process that I'm having, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, does Stearns go the route again of, okay, let's let McClay and Sproat take the spots next year, and maybe we'll try Holmes a second year in a row next year and go that route? Because between me and you, I don't see Stearns going after a starter again. I don't. I think, like I said, I'm seeing reports that he wants Cody Bellinger, and which is great. Cody Bellinger would be fantastic. And personally, I'd put my money into Schwarber. That's who I would put my money at. That's what I would do.
I don't know. It sounds like the Phillies. It wouldn't surprise me if the Phillies overpay to keep him though.
Well, here's the thing, because here's the reality is the Phillies have a window because Real Muto's contract ended the next year. Zach Wheeler said he's retiring, and after his contract's up, and Nola's clearly regressing. So the Phillies have one, but even the Phillies are still not even that good either. That's the crazy thing. I mean, Durant's been good for them, but I don't see the Phillies as a threat in the National League. I think the Brewers are the Brewers are crazy right now. They've lost 4 games since July 5th. I think it's insane what they've done. But
they haven't played a series in a while though.
No, they haven't. But in I just think David Stearns got too cute with this rotation and said to himself, you know what? If this guy could work and that guy could work, even though Severino said I would come back for cheap, and I know Severino's not having a great season, but it's also because of the ballpark that he's pitching in at home. He's been going on the road, actually, not at home. Quintana's having a nice season, too. Almost to the point of, you should just brought those guys back and just go that route. But you also wonder, too, something in this clubhouse is losing JD Martinez and Jose Iglesias. Now, Martinez has still not been signed, and Iglesias is barely a major league ball player right now. But my point I'm trying to make is, missing those 2 vets on this team, is that impacting the clubhouse to the point of, you know what? Maybe we should have tried to find veteran leadership to help simplify this clubhouse, because a lot of guys are overthinking and they're not hitting well and the consistency is not there. Because everything, and I've been on record as saying this, JD Martinez is going to make a very good hitting coach in this league one day. I think the Mets should look into that next season as an approach. I don't want to fire Mendoza because he was 2 games away from the World Series last year. It's his first year, and the second year they're in the race still. And also, I want the Mets to have stability with Stearns and Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want us to be flipping guys back and forth. It's like the Jets with Muji and Glenn. I want stability for these organizations. This is what I want. I'm not wishing. People always say, "Oh, Josh, always wishing people to get fired." Well, no, I'm not.
That was mainly Tom Thibodeau.
No, well, Tibbs, I had enough. I had my run, but like when you actually think about it, with my 4 teams, the Mets, Jets, Knicks, and Rangers, the longest tenured guy out of my 4 teams is Carlos Mendoza. Is the longest tenured guy out of my 4 teams. I have 3 new coaches this year, and Aaron Glenn, Mike Brown, and Mike Sullivan. Like, and Mendoza just got here last year. So, like, this is what I'm talking about with the whole stability situation. It's a matter of I need people to understand I'm not advocating for people to be fired or lose their job. But something also has to give where everybody says, oh, if you fire Chavez, you're just going to bring up the AAA hitting coach. Well, I mean, that's fine, but why is it when the guys go down to AAA, they hit really well, and then when they come up to the major leagues, they just don't hit anymore, like Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio, Acuna, Alvarez. But when they go down to AAA, I know AAA is different than the majors, but even still, though, there's not even a semblance of looking ready when they get to the major league level. But when they're down to AAA, they're raking. I mean, Carson Bench is already hitting, I think, 340 in AAA. He's been there for a couple of games already. It's crazy. You know, that's the guy I think could be the center fielder next year for this team is Bench. That's why I know everybody's saying Bell. I'm wondering if they let Alonso leave, they would sign Bellinger, let Bellinger play first base, and let Carson Bench be the center fielder. I wouldn't do that. I would bring Alonso back, in my opinion. And also Alonso's been taking subtle. Alonso said he wants to play till he's 40, and he was like, and Steve and David, try to make that happen through a subtle shot at ownership. So to me, I mean, where the Mets are right now, Speedy, if you told me a month and a half ago the Cincinnati Reds were going to be a game behind them for the last wild card spot, I would have said you're off your rocker and you're nuts. Now the Reds don't play tonight, but there is a legitimate, real possibility where the Cincinnati Reds could be a half a game behind the Mets. No, not even a game, 1 game back if the Mets lose tonight. Tonight, to me, is a must-win for this game, for this team. Kodai Senga needs to put his big boy pants on. He needs to give me 6 sharp, solid innings. I'm not asking for 7. I'm asking for 6. You know what I'm saying? Give me 6. The bullpen, Blackburn pitched a lot of innings yesterday. Other than Garrett, the bullpen's been rested since Sunday. They had off Monday. Tuesday, they had Hageman finish the game. And then yesterday, Blackburn finished the game. So, like, Helsley, Diaz, Rogers, if I'm missing anybody else, Soto, none of them have pitched. I know Soto pitched a little bit on Tuesday, but they're all rested. They haven't pitched in a couple days. Like, I'm asking since they got Helsley and Diaz, we haven't even been able to get to the whole, like, I feel like Helsley 8th, Diaz 9th, I think, except for the one time against the Giants. But I'm just asking for 6 innings from Senga tonight. That's really all I'm asking for. But I really hope David Stearns learned a valuable lesson in the sense of, maybe instead of thinking anybody could be fixed in this lab and by Hefner, maybe I should go after guys that have a proven track record that can pitch well. Not a guy in Matas who fell flat on his face in New York already once, and Clay Holmes, who's been a reliever for the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe I should not go that route. I should maybe get guys who have been starters, consistent starters, that will give me 6 innings. Like I said, I'm not asking for 7. I'm asking for 6. But to me, this is a must-win for the Mets tonight. If they lose the game tonight, I'm viewing it as, I don't know where it goes from here. You can't lose 2 at home to this Braves team. You can't. This is not the same Braves team we've seen in the past. Okay. I got Michael Harris, who's statistically probably the worst hitter in the majors this year, hitting a grand slam off of Reed Garrett yesterday. Like, that's where we're at right now with this team. It's like, and I felt bad for Carlos Carrasco too yesterday, by the way. I have too much respect for that guy. I do, to watch that. I think it's time. In regards to the Yankees, man, listen, they faced Joe Ryan. They beat the Twins 2 out of 3. It's the Twins. But it's the same issue with the Yankees. It's the consistency. Like, Max Fried has not been great for them last, 5 starts since he's come back from the blister issue. Carlos Rodon has been very inconsistent. Luis Gil has been mediocre since he's gotten back. Devin Williams still can't close a game at all. And look, he leaves Milwaukee, and look how good the Brewers still are. It's amazing. And the lineup, since Judge has been back, he's not been great. It's gonna take him a while, of course, but the hitting has not been good. Chisholm has been. Everybody's raving about Jazz this year. Everybody's raving about him. I look at the numbers. Other than Errol, I look at the numbers and I say, I don't see. Like, I just want to pull up the numbers now because I'm just like, I don't see the excitement for him this year. He has 20 home runs, 52 RBIs, and he's hitting 240. Where to me, where's the excitement? I don't understand. Speedy, do you know where it is? Because I'm looking at them, I'm going.
Personality, his flair, everything that he's burned.
Wait, but the thing is, that's the personality the Yankee fan doesn't want. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I
Like,
know.
They don't want that.
No, I think there's a lot of baseball fans just like that kind of like mentality. Like I've always kind of been in favor of like players like that too. If they're doing well, but again, if they're not and they go cold and then they say things like we're still the best team in baseball when you're skidding, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, and it's really just I don't know. I'm just like the Yankees need to figure. And now this Paul Goldschmidt injury. He's not been hitting well anyway. The problem is Ben Rice is so putrid defensively at first base. You missed the glove with Goldschmidt. You know what I mean? Because he can't scoop a ball, right? And
yeah, even Pete can do that.
that's where Pete has been fabulous. You know what I'm saying? Pete, that's probably one of Pete's best things.
So.
You know what I mean? So to me, when I look at where we are, I'm just gonna shut this down. I don't know what's going on here. Where we are with the Yankees, because now it's the same thing with the Yankees. The freaking state of Ohio is killing New York, because now the Yankees are trying to fight off the Guardians who sold at the deadline, and it's like they lose Class A, and now they're winning all of a sudden. I'm looking. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Do you think the division's over for the Mets? Yes or no?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think the division's over for the Yankees?
I'm not gonna rule it out, but I think the Yankees actually have a better chance of missing than the Mets. But it's weird to think like I would say probably it's over for the Yankees because the Red Sox have played really well.
Because right now the Mets are 5 games behind the Phillies for first place.
Like I think the Phillies are probably still the best of those 3 teams.
And the Yankees are they're 6.5 back of the Blue Jays. The Red Sox are closer than them.
Yeah.
So like it really, I mean, because here's the thing. One of Houston, it's the same thing in the National League. One of Chicago, the Cubs are going to get a wild card spot. And one of the Dodgers and we'll talk about tailspin. How about the Dodgers and that Ohtani story? Jesus, he's got to get better people around him. I mean, it's crazy what he's hanging out with. One of the Padres or the Dodgers are gonna take a wild card spot. So that last wild card spot is going to come down to the Mets and the Reds, right? You would think that's what it's going to be. In the American League, it's the same thing. It's a matter of, the Red Sox are going to take one wild card spot, right? Either the Mariners or the Astros are going to take the other wild card spot. So it's going to come down to either the Yankees or the Guardians. Don't mind if you hear my son crying in the background. I don't know if you hear it.
That's what I did hear. I thought it was Errol.
Oh, you did hear it? Okay.
It was. There was a noise. I couldn't hear.
No. It's just him. I don't know if you're going to with the Yankees and the Guardians. It's going to come to one of them for that last wild card spot. And this is to me. Cleveland, and and you look at Cleveland's schedule. They got the Marlins. Now Cleveland lost yesterday to the Marlins. They got the Marlins again today. Then they get the Braves for 3 straight. Look at this. At Arizona. So that's great for them. They get Atlanta, and then they get Arizona. Texas also is in the wild card race too, but
I would say, yeah, I actually might trust them a little more than Cleveland, actually.
yeah, you got Texas, then you get Tampa. So it's like, honestly, for the whole, I don't know. It's almost like what's the Yankee schedule coming up? Right, they're off today. They get the Cardinals for 3. Then they're at Tampa for 2. There's a big series coming up for them. Did you see next weekend?
The next is 4 with the Red Sox.
4 with the Red Sox. Then they get the Nationals at home. Then they're at the White Sox, at Houston.
So that's
home against Toronto. This is tough, man. This is a tough stretch. It's like they get home against Boston. They get a Washington series, Chicago White Sox series. But then they get Houston on the road. Then they get Toronto at home for 3. Detroit at home for 3. Then they're at Boston for 3. But then they get to end the year with like Minnesota, Baltimore, White Sox, Baltimore. So it's like hit or miss. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think, and you look at like the Mets schedule coming up. It's like you get Seattle at home, then they at Washington, at Atlanta, yippee, home against Philly, home against the Marlins, at Detroit. There's a big one. At Cincinnati for 3. They get that in September. Their September schedule, man. Look at this. They get at Cincinnati, at Philly, home against Texas, home against the Padres, home against the Nationals, at the Cubs, and then at the Marlins.
So what you're saying is Jacob deGrom and all the other ex-Mets on Texas will end their season.
No, see, deGrom could pitch 5 innings. He's another one with the 6. You know what I mean? But everything of that nature. But to me, I mean, I don't know. So let me ask you this: do you think both make the playoffs? Both miss the playoffs?
Mets make it,
or one of them make the playoffs?
Mets make it. Yankees don't. I still don't know how much I trust the Reds overall. Yankees, I don't anymore.
Who gets the last wild card spot in the American League?
Texas.
Wow.
I trust them a little more than Cleveland. I don't know how Cleveland's offense.
Does this screw up the Yankees for next year? Even with Cole coming back, then is this a setback for them?
I don't know. We'll have to see what other moves. The Yankees will probably flip-flop other players too because they have a lot of guys on 1-year deals.
And Kyle Tucker goes where?
Stays with the Cubs.
I'll tell you what, if he stays with the Cubs, the Yankees got to figure this out then with Bellinger. I was thinking about that today. Because I think Kyle Tucker's staying with the Cubs too. I'm thinking to myself, all right, they're going to definitely have to overpay for Bellinger then, right? Like, that's going to be a given. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though. Tell you what, man, baseball in New York is a disaster. As we get into that, Speedy, let's get to the gridiron now. Jets and Giants play this weekend. No Malik Neighbors and no Sauce Gardner. No Justin Fields. Snoopy Bowl. Any words on what you've heard, what you've seen at practices so far? Because from everything I read, Jets won day 1, Giants won game 2, but it's like you can't really tell with these things. But it's also no Gardner, no Quinton Williams, no Jermaine Johnson for the Jets, and then for the Giants, like no Malik Neighbors, but Russell Wilson still looks good. Everything, I don't know. And then this whole Breece Hall trade possibility. I keep reading about this Breece Hall trade thing.
Now? Seems like
I'm reading rumors. I'm rumoring it, Speedy.
The rumorville's back, Carl.
Well, let me tell you. Here, there was something I saw. Hold on. Yeah, here, let me see. Yeah, I'm seeing rumors that it could be it because of the way Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis and also Robinson from Michigan has played for the Jets in training camp, that there might not be any room for Mr. Brees Hall. Would you trade Brees?
I don't know. I see the price seems unknown right now, so I don't think I would. I would want to see him in the system first because he's coming off a down year. It doesn't seem like the
I
time
want to see Brees behind this offensive line.
Yeah.
That's you know what I'm saying, because the Jets' offensive line is crazy good. Have there been any storylines, Speedy? You're more into this than me with the whole training camp stuff because you know me with football. I can't mentally prepare myself for it yet.
Well, yeah.
Any wacky storylines that you've heard?
Well, with the Giants, they just going back to them. There's belief that maybe they're thinking Dart could actually start sooner than expected, which is interesting. As far as a wacky one, if you want a wacky one, there's always one with Aaron Rodgers. Already saying the new
With the helmet?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's a spaceship now.
Well, I heard also that apparently he called Odell in June about signing with Pittsburgh with him.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what? I'm like, you already have Rodgers, you have Metcalf, you have Jalen Ramsey. Like, what? Like, what is Rooney?
Oh, here's a fun one with the Steelers too. There's a belief if the Patriots like have issues with Stephon Diggs, they're going to be interested in trading for him.
But like, why are I'll say the Rooney family? Why are they doing this? What are they getting out of doing this? Because this is so not like them to do this that it almost seems that they're taking a crazy tactic and trying to figure out, okay, and don't mind me sitting like my back has been hurting me, but like sitting, because it's just very unlike them to be like, hey, we're gonna go this route and everything like that. It just seems odd to me. Oh. Did you see what Jerry Jones said? Hold on. I gotta pull up the exact quote. Hold on. Jerry Jones. Hold on. Hold on. I know about that he beat cancer and everything like that.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Jerry Jones comment on TV. Let me see. I can't. Oh, God. Let me see. Denzel Washington made a comment. He's a Cowboys fan saying he's not happy.
Jerry Jones here. Cowboys are a soap opera 365 days a
Yeah,
year.
he said that he'd rather be on the camera more than win.
Yeah, sounds accurate.
And I'm just like, what?
He's accomplished his goals.
Well, this is why Bill Parcells, when he signed with the Cowboys, told Jerry, you cannot do media post games anymore. And he did it. And then, of course, Bill was let go, and Jerry went back to doing it again. That's why he hired Jason Garrett, and he hired Mike McCarthy, and he's now hired Brian Schottenheimer, because these are yes men that abide by Jerry's law, which is, hey, I'm running the show. Okay, just remember that. And these are guys that are going to go, yes, sir, or anything like that. They're not going to care. I mean, he literally said to Brian Schottenheimer's face at the press conference, is hiring Brian taking a risk? Yeah, it is. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm like, I'm just sitting right here. I mean, I don't know, man.
Jerry Jones, everybody.
And then meanwhile, CeeDee Lamb got run over by got trucked by a ref the other day. He was getting too close to the sideline.
No, this is why that happened. The ref is on Jerry Jones' payroll to get some insurance money so they can pay Micah Parsons.
Before we get to our last topic, because we said this is gonna be a quick show tonight, we'll get back to it next week with Eric and everything of that nature. I know Speedy's busy. We all got things to do. So the AP, this is gonna be a nice long conversation for us, Speedy, because we have a lot to digest with this. Because I'm sure you've seen the top 25, or have you not?
I have it pulled up now.
Well, I will say to the fans really quickly. Do you want me to go 25-1 or 1-25?
Put 25-1.
All right, so sorry, I'm not gonna do the numbers, but in order, 25th until 1. Boise State, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Ole Miss, Indiana, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Kansas State, SMU, Florida, Michigan, South Carolina, Illinois, Arizona State, Miami, LSU, Alabama, Oregon, Notre Dame, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Penn State, Texas. So when we look at those rankings, and you know, I look at my thought process is okay. Where where are the mistakes and everything? Because this is going to change all year, right? Like we know this is going to be a whole off season, everything like that. Like I mean, I guess the nice thing is I'm looking at week 1. Yeah, Wisconsin. There you go. Thursday at 9:00, August 28th. Against Miami. Okay.
Let's see. Did Wisconsin receive any votes? Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like they did. No. The juicy matchups before we get to our thoughts on the top 25. You're gonna have Texas at Ohio State. One
So
versus 3.
one of them will probably be out of the at least top 5 temporarily.
Yeah, I mean it sounds like it. I'm trying to see. You get LSU at Clemson, 9 versus 4.
Battle of 2 annoying coaches.
Yeah, I know, right? I thought Miami was playing somebody that week, weren't they?
There's usually later in the season. I thought they're bigger matchups.
I thought they're bigger matchup. Oh, here we go. Sunday, August 31st at 7:30. Notre Dame 6 versus at Miami 10.
Yeah, so and then Florida a couple weeks later from that. Florida's 15. Miami.
Yeah, so I mean, you get some good juicy matchups the first week, but then it's like also like the second week, it's like you're trying to find like that game, right? Like where? No,
Yeah.
Wisconsin. No. Wisconsin got ranked as the toughest schedule in college football this year. So that's yeah. Really quickly, I mean, before we get to our thought process, I'll explain to you Wisconsin's schedule. It's brutal. It's home versus Miami, Ohio, versus Middle Tennessee, home at Alabama. Home versus Maryland, at Michigan.
Oh, is the Alabama one the one you were trying to go to with your brother?
Last year.
Yeah.
I'm not stepping for. Are you crazy? I'm not going there this year. At Michigan, home versus Iowa, home versus Ohio State, at Oregon, home versus Washington, at Indiana, home versus Illinois, and at Minnesota.
Yeah, well, that's the Big Ten West getting tougher now. So
yeah, so they're facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranked opponents, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in the top 15. Talk about Luke Fickell has his job might be on the line this year too. So when we look at the top 25s, BD, and we view it and we say, okay, what did they get right now? Listen, these things change dramatically, right, throughout the year. They always do. Which one do you? Which ranking? I know we talked on the phone during our meeting earlier. We both took questions. Obviously, everybody's on the Arch Manning bandwagon with Texas, and it starts week 1. They're at Ohio State. I mean, that's gonna bump it right there. That could be, I don't think they're gonna get penalized that badly because, and again, the rankings don't even matter because everybody makes the playoff now too. So don't forget that.
Right.
I feel like even if Texas loses this game, it's not going to hurt them. They'll move to like 4th or 5th in the country, depending if they don't get blown out. They lose by like 24-21, 34-31. It's like, all right, they lost on the road to Ohio State, the number 3 team in the country. But it's like, what team do you look at and say, yeah, they're going to dominate this year? And what's a team that you say, wow, they were really overranked amongst the top 25?
Yeah, I tend to like a lot of the top 5 teams. I think the one that I was questioning is the same one that you're about to question, but I do like Clemson this year, even though I haven't in years past. Their defense is strong. You got Kate Klubnik at QB. Georgia should have a better offense than they did last year. I think they're going to still be up there. Texas, I do like, but the preseason never wins. So it's always like, can you handle that? Outside of the top 5, I do like Oregon still. I think Alabama, the second year in that system, still should be strong too. And I'm not crazy about LSU for one. Their defense is always sped, and Brian Kelly is Brian Kelly. So I think they drop off a little. Notre Dame is interesting because they had a lot of guys drafted. Are they going to be the same? Is going to be another question. They still might make the playoff, but maybe number 6 overall could be a tough stretch. And then I think this is the one you're alluding to, the number 2 team in Penn State.
Yeah, I mean we do this every year with Penn State, right? Like this is an every year thing. It's James Franklin cannot beat a team in the top 5 ever. Never was a big game, and I'm just like trying to look at their schedule. It's okay. They're at Ohio State this year. They're home versus Oregon this year.
Right.
Like, do we trust Franklin's going to win those 2 games? Maybe the home one against Oregon, but do we trust he's going into Ohio State to beat? He never beats Ohio State.
Nope.
So it's like, why?
2 years ago was their best chance. Still blew it.
You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I know Allure is going to be one of the top quarterbacks picked in the draft. The one that I guess it really shouldn't surprise me was because Tennessee lost the quarterback. What's his face? He went to UCLA.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they dropped all the way to 24th.
I think they'll be better than that.
Yeah, I think so too. Michigan, I'm not that high on at 14. Arizona State's interesting because they lost. He's now on the Giants. They lost the running back.
Yeah.
Yep. So how much does that take away from their offense? I believe they do have if I'm not mistaken, they have like the top receiver in the draft that's coming out this year.
Yeah, his weird name I always forget, but
yeah. So I mean, no, I think Texas will be good. I believe in, and everybody's assuming that Arch is coming out this year. Here's the reality, guys. He's gonna get paid in college. There's no guarantees he's coming out this year. I mean, Archie already said it the other day about his grandson. He said that he'd be surprised if he came out because, if you look at it with Peyton and with Eli, they all finished college and they didn't get paid. Remember that? Now you got guys getting paid. Why would you, if you're Arch, why would you want to leave him? Why would you want to leave a program? Do I believe in Steve Sarkisian? That's the question that I have. I really do. I like Sarkisian. I think Texas went through it when Mac Brown left. Texas went through a revolving door of coaches because they cannot grasp at the tradition, and they found Sarkisian, and Sarkisian has been huge for them. And of course, the monies and the donors that they get Texas. I think Ohio State will be good. Oregon, to me, I like Oregon. It's a matter of that game that ended the season in the playoff really bothered me a little bit. Where they got lambasted by Ohio State. I mean, why are we doing this with Penn State? We do this every freaking year with Franklin, man. They haven't been Ohio State. And not only do they always lose to Ohio State, they always lose to them like 10-3 or like 9-0. Well, they don't score anything against them. And it's like, what? Like, why are we doing this? I think Alabama will be better. Second year. If I had to pick a national champion right now, I'd maybe go with Georgia because I trust Kirby. That would be my only reason. You know me and Notre Dame. So it's another one. But they had a good year last year.
I don't think Notre Dame is that same old stereotype.
No, I mean, listen, they went to the national championship last year. Nobody had that in their playbook, so I could tell you, I mean, it was impressive. Some think Oklahoma's going to be better and bounce back, being 18th this year. But the thing is, everybody makes the playoff now. You know what I mean? Like that's really the thing. Like, I want like under the radar because the ACC, other than Miami, like doesn't really scare anybody. Like, is Dabo back with Clemson now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Did who's the quarterback that he's got? Yeah, who's supposed to be a top quarterback?
I think he will be.
Yeah, I mean, people look at it as, are Clemson back? You know what I mean? Like that's what it comes down to because Dabo's offensive playbook, offensive play calling, and everything like that. I don't know, man. Who would you pick if you had to choose? I think right now if I had to pick, I would pick Georgia because I think they're going to go through a gauntlet in the SEC. And it's going to sound crazy, but I actually an under the radar one. I guess right now an under the radar. But I think Carson Beck's going to have a bounce back for Miami.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just like with them, it's always like later in the season too. Like with Penn State, like can they figure it out? Because they should have won the ACC last year.
100%, absolutely. I mean, it's they have the coach. It's just it's
It's similar to Penn State. Like
I think Georgia. If I had to pick one right now,
torn with either Texas or Clemson. I probably would trust Texas a little more just with the strength of opponents. I do.
That's what it is. Everybody's going to be biased at the SEC. I mean, listen, I would not sleep on Clemson, but I said my under the radar is Miami. It's I really think Beck's gonna do a good job here. He should have done a great job at Georgia last year. The injuries happened, and then and everything of that nature. I mean, now I believe Georgia. I believe Stockton is starting for Georgia this year, so that's going to be the interesting part. I know Colton Ginn is their future, but sounds like Stockton's going to get the job. That could be the thing that hinders them is the quarterback play. I mean, there's so many good quarterbacks. I mean, you got Newsheimer coming out of LSU. You got Allure at Penn State. You got Clubman coming out of Clemson. You even got in Mark Mendoza coming out of Indiana. He's another one that people are sleeping on with Mendoza because he's a good, he's 6'5", but he's a good dual threat quarterback. And what he did getting Indiana to the playoff last year. And of course you have Arch. There's probably about 5 or 6. There could be about 6 quarterbacks that go in the first round this year.
Yeah, the other one
last year where there were 1. What was there? 1?
Yeah. There was Cam Ward and Jackson Dart too.
Oh, that's right. Dart. Yep, Dart went late in the first year, right? Yep.
The other one too that's getting some hype is the South Carolina QB Sellers as well.
Oh, okay.
They think is like a bigger guy, could be like another like running type quarterback too. If obviously you'll have to develop in the NFL as a passer, but again, we saw that with Jalen Hurts and guys like that, so it's possible.
And yes, I was gonna call, but I wanted to also, before we go, wish my parents a happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
I don't know how many years is it. I gotta look. Oh my God, it's
sounds like something Snug would know.
He might. That's the crazy thing. 42 years for my parents. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So 42 years. I'm actually gonna call them after I'm done here. Did not forget I was gonna call them tonight. I started this morning. But yeah, happy anniversary to them. I hope they're celebrating it nicely, and hopefully the Mets win for them tonight. We'll see. But before we go, Speed, we have to do our "You're Better Than That." What is yours, my friend?
Well, this goes out to I don't know the name of the network, but pretty much all of Atlanta media that has to be careful about spelling your franchise quarterback's last name. I think you know where I'm going with the autocorrect of that. Instead of his name ending in X, there was a graphic of it ending in S.
Oh no!
Yeah, that certainly made headlines today. So just be careful, graphics department in Atlanta media and sports coverage. So whoever that was, I don't know the name of the network, but whoever it is, you're better than that.
Yeah, well, whoops. Man, how do you? Yeah. Poor Michael. Poor Penix, man. Whoops. Listen, mistakes happen, I guess. Might get better than that. It's interesting. I actually haven't, because we talked a lot about all the sports that I wanted to complain about today. So really nothing for me to bring, but I'll think of a quick one right now. Mine is actually going to go to WWE and constantly trying to copy or try to have the dates on the same day as AEW paid live events. It's like enough already. Do your own day. You don't have to pick AEW's day. To me, WWE, be your own people. You're better than that. Eric will be back next week. Check us out at worldwidesportsradio.com, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, Spotify, Apple Podcast. TikTok for Jabba in the Mouth. Speedy, thank you for being on camera tonight. It was a lot of fun as always. You can check out the Weekend Crunch on Saturday, 7 o'clock. LA News Radio Network 103.9 with Errol and Speedy. Of course, Jabba in the Mouth, 7:30s, Mondays and Wednesdays. And a lot of good shows. And of course, Game On here on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eric should be back next week. Be another good show. This time we'll have more of his Yankee perspective on where they're at. Because guess what? Both teams might be out of the playoffs next week when Eric comes back. Who would have thought that would have happened in June? Nobody.
He'll probably come back and call you negative. The negative fan.
Yeah, probably would. That sounds about right. But Speedy, thank you so much again, man. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of the week to the fans listening. Thank you so much for listening and watching us and tuning in. We will talk to you all next week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your sports. We only got a few more weeks left of summer. So, children, enjoy it. Because it's back to school time. I'm seeing nonstop commercials about it. It's making me sick. All right. We'll talk to you then. Oh, if you haven't seen on Instagram, by the way, Tyler of the Year, my son Caleb is up for Tyler of the Year. If you have not seen it, vote, vote, vote. He's third in his group right now, top 5.
Nice.
Big thing. So keep voting. He gets $25,000 into a fund for college. Wonderful. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you on happy anniversary again to my parents, of course. Love them very much. We will talk to you next week. You've been listening and watching Game On here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. For Eric Bowe, for Speedy Petey, that's me, just me only in the logo, Mr. Josh Silverberg on top. We'll talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then. Have a good weekend of sports. You've been listening and watching us here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.